What is the difference between you and all of these people that you want to be like? They take action. They don't sit there and waste their time watching videos like this and so many others. There's so much information out there, more than you will ever be able to tap into. They don't spend all of their time consuming content. They spend their time thinking about what they want to do, or they spend their time actually executing and doing what they want to do. Action. Action is the difference. Another difference between you and these people that you admire is original thought. Original thought requires thinking. It's in the name, original thought. It requires thinking and reflection. Let's talk a little bit about what our brains are actually doing in these two different modes of thinking. Consumption brain is decoding, it's processing, it's interpreting, all of which require a lot of energy, by the way. It might seem relaxing to just scroll or watch something, but it actually is a lot of mental energy. The creating brain, on the other hand, is doing things like problem solving, idea generation, decision making. The main difference between these two is that the consumption brain adds to the library of knowledge, while the creation brain actually flexes the muscle of applying that knowledge. I am still learning, I am still growing, but all I know is that all of the knowledge that I have gained so far has been through experience. The deepest of knowledge comes from the deepest of feeling. Think about it. When you were a kid, right, and your parents were telling you, don't eat sugar, it's bad for you, you didn't listen because you were like, what do they know? You didn't actually have that experience of feeling bad when you ate sugar. When you become an adult, you notice how it affects your skin, you notice how it affects your hair, you notice how it affects your energy levels. Through that experience, you think, oh, maybe I should eat less sugar. When you come to a conclusion yourself from your own thought process, then that knowledge will be more impactful and more insightful. I'm not saying that knowledge from the external world, from these podcasts and these books, is not helpful. It is. It triggers amazing thought processes. But imagine the power that you could hold if you could tap into that knowledge without needing to listen to podcasts and books. How did all of these people that you're reading the books of and listening to the podcasts of, how did they get there? They didn't listen to podcasts and books back then. How did they get to these amazing, insightful philosophies? They thought, they sat there, they spent their time thinking, they spent their time observing, they spent their time actually listening to the deepest parts of themselves and nature. To transition from consumption to creation, you have to allow for something called mental digestion. Mental digestion is the act of actually letting that knowledge process so that you can use it. If you're never actually processing any of this information that you're learning, then you're never going to be able to apply it, and you're constantly going to feel fatigued and overwhelmed, which is going to cause a lot of anxiety. So in order to move away from this passive consuming life into this more active, action-oriented life, I'm going to give you 3 different things that you could implement right now. The first thing you're going to do is go to Instagram or TikTok and unfollow everyone that does not add to a positive perspective. Unfollow them because that will automatically reduce how addicting Instagram is. And then when you do go onto the platform, because we all do, it will add to your perspective, at least in a good way. And slowly over time, hopefully you'll use it less and less. Second thing you're gonna do is start monitoring the amount of time that you spend taking things in versus putting things out. And by taking things in, I mean everything, including reading, researching, listening to music, listening to podcasts, everything where you're taking information in instead of observing or putting things out. Monitor how much time you do that, so at least you have some kind of baseline as you go about this process of reducing that time. If you are consuming, you are not creating. Although I'm not saying all consuming is bad, and I'm not saying consuming as a whole is bad, consuming is important in order to inspire you. But make sure it's in balance. We are all striving for balance, Do not be constantly consuming, sitting on the couch and consuming all day long. If you're consuming, you are not creating a life that you love. Third thing is a challenge. Do a silent day. That means no talking, no consuming music, no reading books. Just spend the day with you, your thoughts, and your actions. You can create something. Spend this day thinking, observing, and creating. How beautiful is it to spend this kind of time with yourself? I hope these three things help, and I'm gonna keep thinking of different ways that we can all become more action oriented and more in tune with who we are and where we want to go. If you have any other suggestions on things people can do and implement into their lives to become more action oriented, leave it in the comments.